Hello and welcome to the October opening here at the Portland Art Gallery. My name is Emma Wilson and I'm the director here and delighted that you can join us. This month's feature artists are Alan Bunker, Trainor Domingue, and Petrea Noyes. More from them in a little bit. First, I'd like to say a few thank yous. Thank you to our clients who continue to support the arts and our artists in the gallery. We enjoy seeing you here at 154 Middle when you can come in and see us in person. We also love staying connected through emails and through texts, through phone calls. Thank you again. And also a debt of gratitude to our artists who continue to fervently create in their studio spaces and to share their worlds with us every day. So it's October, and here we are. We made it through September. The leaves are starting to change here in Maine. We're starting to prepare for the cooler climate. That's winter, but we are enjoying all of nature's beauty right now. And it's also a time of some tumultuousness going on in our world and in our community. And it's during these times that I've often looked at art for some understanding of aspects of the human condition, whether or not it be birth or death or conflict of some sort. It's also the time that I look to art for a sense of optimism and for some hope and for some peace and for some connection. And so I'm so lucky that I work in this gallery filled with artwork created by our phenomenal artists that every day I can tap into those feelings and those emotions. And I invite you to do that with me as well. And now it is my honor to introduce artist Petrea Noyes. Unfortunately, Petrea was not able to make it down into the gallery today for recording. There were 60-mile-an-hour winds up where she lives and just couldn't get down here safely. But we are happy to have her voice to share information about her process, her inspiration, and more about her technique. So with that, I'd like to introduce artist Petrea Noyes.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So I'm ready whenever you are to give your artist statement.
Okay, well, I was raised by my grandparents. My grandfather was Harold Walcott, who was an artist in Southport, Connecticut, and I grew up around oil paints and canvases and all sorts of tools and equipment, everything, a drop-dead dream for somebody that wanted to learn how to paint and draw. And so I did. Well, you have to do something in life. And I've worked at Sikorsky. I've been a mechanic on helicopters at Sikorsky. I've legged up ponies. I've ridden in horse shows. I've taken flying lessons, but I threw up on the first 2 flying lessons because I didn't like it. I have drawn and painted all my life. I married a man that was running an automobile business, and it takes a lot of work. You've got to be there all the time to attend to people. So I started making artwork on a computer, and I big printer. I started with a small one, and then I got a big printer, and I started printing things instead of painting them. And I've done that for about 10 or 15 years. And finally, the computer quit, the printer quit. So I've gone back to doing it the old-fashioned way with pencil and canvas and acrylic paints because they dry faster. So that's where I am. I've always wanted to be a hermit, which is why I dragged my poor husband to Maine, and we're hermits. And I don't like, as you probably know, I don't really like going to openings. I don't like crowds of people. I can do it if I have to. I can talk to people and carry on a coherent conversation, but I'd rather not. I like to get up every morning, go to my studio. I work for 3 or 4 hours, come home, fix lunch, and then go back in the afternoon and spend a couple more hours. And that's what's important to me. I'm not really fond of groups of people, so I just like the process of drawing faces and figures. I could do landscapes. I've done landscapes, but I like the idea of the human form. It's mostly figurative, almost always figurative. It's because I like drawing the human figure. Not necessarily nudes. I'm not crazy about naked people. I don't think they're very pretty. Naked, unless, it's, I don't know, it has to be exceptional. But it's, they've got clothes on and hats and outfits and sometimes a dog in the thing. And, I don't go with a set idea. It just sort of happens. And I tried to explain this to my husband, who dying to be a painter, but he's not very good at it. But he can fix anything, cars, motorcycles, you name it, the oven. I mean, he's one of the most talented human beings I've ever met, but he's given up painting because he can't paint like me. Why would he want to? But I just get such a kick out of the stuff I'm doing. I mean, who would take a pencil line and liquefy it with varnish? And it was a mistake the first time I did it, and it's worked out beautifully. It gives this funny-looking line, these drawings that I make on canvas. It gives a really weird-looking line. And I like that because people say, well, what is that anyway? Well, you know, they had to figure it out. And I grew up with somebody who was very creative. So I was encouraged, and so that's what I did. So I've had plenty of time to read and draw and paint, and I've been doing it for over 70 years. I'm happier than a pig in shit. My life is great. I've lost 30 pounds, so I'm not fat anymore. My knees don't hurt. I'm 74, and I intend to live to be 100 and get crankier every year.
Thank you, Petrea, for your remarks about your process and your inspiration. That was really wonderful. And now it is my honor to introduce artist Trainor Domingue. Some of you may not realize, but Anne and her husband, they own and operate a daycare in New Hampshire. But when she's not taking care of children, she is creating phenomenal artwork. And the pieces that she creates touch on the themes of love and connection and hard work, and they have this narrative quality to them that so many people enjoy. So I'd like to now introduce artist Trainor Domingue. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Trainor Domingue. I'd like to start out with first thanking Portland Art Gallery for everything they've done during this pandemic for all of us artists. You were very creative in managing the gallery, creating new ways to market our work, strengthening social media outreach, and filming virtual openings for we artists. It's a model I'm sure other galleries will envy. It hasn't been easy adapting to all these changes, and I appreciate your efforts very much. As a brief background, I was born in Fall River, Massachusetts, the oldest girl of 9 children, lived many years in boating towns of Barrington, Warwick, and Providence, Rhode Island before moving inland to New Hampshire. I'm a homebody and a New Englander at heart. Once my parents recognized I enjoyed coloring as a child, they encouraged my burgeoning art interest in many ways. I have a degree in art studio from Rhode Island College, where I discovered graphic design. I then worked in advertising and marketing for over 30 years, from pre-computer hand production through the introduction of the computer. Throughout this time, I was working on my own art, taking photos, sketching, thinking one day I would work full-time as a professional artist. With my wonderful husband's full support, this day finally came in 2013. The body of work I'm showing here is a continuation of my ongoing coastal-inspired work, where I use a fisherman and a girl in a village setting to explore themes of friendship, love, caring, and community. I began a village series several years ago where I incorporated local coastal village details of homes and waterfront structures into busy interwoven communities. A simple photo of a bright white lobster boat floating on a dark blue sea with a fisherman in orange gear continues to inspire my work. The 2 iconic fish houses on Fish Beach on Monhegan Island, Maine, which I saw for the first time in 2003, began my use of these simple structures as symbols and metaphors for stability, strength, and grace. Now they are the basis for more complex compositions, such as Village in the Pursuit of Happiness, which is part of this exhibition and hanging right behind me. I have brought together vignettes of family, friends, and hardworking people to suggest that people of all kinds can get along well as they live and work in harmony, peace, and respect. Alongside the Village series, I began to explore ways to add people as the prominent feature of a painting. Once I gave my fisherman a girl, their relationship began to evolve, which is now represented in several pieces in this show, including When Our Worlds Came Together. In this piece, I've worked to bring a focus to the couple at the point where they recognize they're connected by an invisible, inspiring force. Large curving arcs suggest two separate worlds overlapping. They're patterned with subtle line drawings suggesting their experiences and memories. The warmest tone in this piece is the yellow emanating from the room where they're standing, hopefully a space where they realize they're meant to be. As I take time to think about where my work will go next on this art journey, I'll design pieces that are more about shapes and color for upcoming work, while I play with different color combinations, textures, and line, as I work in a more abstract, spontaneous way. Each year in January, I also select a few key words that will help to define and keep my focus on new work. I commonly use ink or pencil line with watercolor to develop work in my sketchbooks. I refer to reference photos to capture shapes and details. I simplify complicated images down to their essence, work out a composition in a small size, and then free draw a large simplified design on canvas or panel. At times, I add color as an overall underpainting and expressive line work using different kinds of mark-making tools. Painting for me is a process of working out all these relationships, stopping when they all live peacefully together as a painting. I try to imbue a sense of joy in my work that can be inspiring and uplifting, especially now when the world and aspects of our normally friendly local communities are at odds. Families too are off-kilter, finding it hard to stay in balance and show kindness while they adapt to new times. I hope my work in a small way can help bring back that joy to our lives. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Anne, for sharing your remarks and giving us a little bit more of an intimate view into some of what your subjects in your paintings might be thinking or talking about or experiencing. It was really great. And now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the October premiere artist, Alan Bunker. We've been working with Alan since 2014. There is no one that has such an evocative sense of the Maine landscape, whether it be stormy or peaceful or never-ending. And people look to Alan's work to get that sense of connection to that place in Maine. Spent so many years in Booth Bay, has a successful construction business, but he's also just this extraordinary artist. So with that, I'd like to introduce Alan Bunker.
Hello, thank you for being with us tonight. My name is Alan Bunker. I'm one of the artists here at Portland Art Gallery. Thank you for watching. I've always been creative and industrious. As some of you may know, I'm a licensed construction supervisor. My father's father was very creative, and he had a workshop in his barn, and he was always inventing and making wonderful things in his workshop, mostly out of wood. And he had two daughters, my aunts, who were both artists, and they were really good artists. And on my mother's side, my grandfather was a mason, and he had three sons that were also masons. So I learned industry from them, and I admired what they did. I've always taken on a lot in my work and in my energies, and this sometimes gets me in trouble. I'm renovating a house right now in West Newfield. It's my wife Priscilla and I's 9th house together that we've renovated. And if you ask Sean Thomas or anybody who's seen it, they just shake their head and say, "What are you doing?" It's way over the top. It's barely savable, but I saw the potential in it, and it's starting to take shape, and I'm really liking it. I try to look at art and life and everything a little differently, not just to take what's given to me, what's put in front of me, but to develop it and just look at it differently and see if I can push the limits. When I'm painting, I talk to myself, I tell myself, don't just accept what you see. Don't just do it like everyone else does it. Don't just do it normal. Push it, push it, push it, push the limits. And most of the times, the paintings come out terrible. I have to throw them away. but sometimes they don't, and that's what I have here, I think, anyway, in this collection. My goal is to take a subject and simplify it, break it down, and make it not always peaceful, but a lot of times it's peaceful. And you know that you have a lot of stuff going on in your life right now. You have, just like everybody else, you have a lot of stuff going on, and you need peace. You need an Alan Bunker painting. I'd like to thank Emma and Kevin and Emma and Missy for this wonderful gallery and this wonderful opportunity. But I'd like to mostly thank my collectors, because you people who actually put your money where your mouth is, I feel like you understand me, you understand what I'm trying to do, and I appreciate that. I just want you to know that. And I want to thank you for making the effort to understand what I'm trying to do, and to validate it, and to tell me that you get me. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan, and to Anne and Petrea for sharing your remarks this evening. And thank you for joining us for this first Thursday of October here at the Portland Art Gallery. We're located at 154 Middle Street, here in the heart of the Old Port. We're open 7 days a week, 10 to 5:30, and always open online at www.portlandartgallery.com. We are seeing more of you here in the gallery space, which is so wonderful. A few things that you might be interested in knowing is that we've invested into air purifiers here at the gallery. We have masks available for those that may not have one with them, and we also always have cleaning supplies and hand sanitizer. So if you're comfortable, please come in and see us, and if not, we still love to stay connected through our website and through our emails and through our phone calls. So with that, be well, take good care of each other, and look forward to connecting with you soon. Thank you.